Good evening, East Marion Baptist Church. This is Pastor Andrew with another family devotional video for us. During this time of coronavirus and isolation, we are fixing our attention on the attributes of God, and tonight I want us to think about God's unchangeableness. I used to have a 95 blue, faded blue, ugly Honda Odyssey, and everyone hated it except me. And I loved it because man, the thing was just reliable. You could count on that van to keep on trucking along, and it was just a great car as far as I was concerned. I named it Odysseus because it was a Honda Odyssey, and it was just like Odysseus, just kind of kept on until it made it to where you needed to go. And the thing, actually, I got it for free, and it was the sort of situation. It had a cracked engine block. I got the thing replaced, and then through the years, it got all sorts of damage. It got hit, it got dinged by this and that, and with everything that happened to it, I got a new insurance check on the thing, and by the end of it all, I ended up making like profit off of just driving this car, like $800 profit in my pocket because I just hung on to old Odysseus. It was a reliable vehicle. But as all things are, it eventually ran out and stopped running. And that's the way things are in life. Everything we have in life, every relationship, every person, every object is maybe reliable to a point. Maybe we can count on it to a point, but it will let us down eventually. It will wear out at some point. The unchangeableness of God teaches us that God is the exact opposite of that. At his fundamental nature, it is in fact impossible that he change, and that is great news to us. Psalm chapter 102, verses 25 through 27 would put it this way: Of old you laid the foundation of the earth, and the heavens are the work of your hands. They will perish, but you endure. They will all wear out like a garment. You change them like raiment, and they pass away. But you are the same, and your years have no end. Things we see that look to us to be eternal are not. They are finite. They will fade away. Things like mountains and seas. But God will never change. James chapter 1 verse 17 says this, that every good and perfect gift comes from God, with whom there is no variation or shadow due to change. Or Malachi chapter 3 verse 6, For I the Lord do not change, therefore you, O sons of Jacob, are not consumed. Do you know what this means for you? This means that you can count on God to be faithful to every promise he has made to you. He will not change. You may fear that he has changed his mind about you, but the fact is, he cannot, because it is contrary to his very core nature. He is unchangeable. He says of himself that he cannot lie. He says of himself that he will always be faithful. There's a passage in Timothy that says that when we are faithless, he remains faithful because he cannot deny himself. He has to remain faithful to you who are his, because to not be faithful would be to deny himself. This is wonderful news. In fact, when we talk about God's unchangeableness, we have to qualify it actually just a little bit. Because it's not that he is unchangeable in every respect whatsoever. He's unchangeable in his perfections and in his promises and these sorts of things. But there is one critical way in which he did change in order to not change as it related to his faithfulness to you. Do you know what that was? God changed whenever he took on human flesh. When he became a human being in the person of Jesus Christ, he took upon his nature something that had not been a part of his nature prior to that, and that was humanity, that was flesh. In fact, this will always be the case in Jesus forever. He has become like us so that we might become like him. In one way, he changed, that is, becoming like us, so that in another way he would not be able to change, that is, that he could never be unfaithful to his promises of redemption and forgiveness to us. This is a remarkable thing, that God does not change, and yet in this one way did change, so that we might be with him forever. I'd like for you to think about what it means for you that God cannot change. What are specific promises that God has made that this encourages you about, that he will remain faithful to those things? How does it make you feel that God took on human flesh for eternity future so that you might enter into relationship with Him in an unchanging way. God bless and have a good night.